Have you ever opened your closet and felt like it was whispering stories from a life that doesn't quite match your present? The dresses, the coats, the shoes, all holding memories, hopes, and even guilt. But here's the thing. Your closet shouldn't feel like a museum. It should feel like a warm, welcoming space that fits who you are today. At this stage in life, you've earned the right to simplify without apology. Not just for the sake of tidiness, but for clarity, ease, and joy. I once spoke with a neighbor named Carol, a retired teacher in her 70s. She told me how one afternoon she decided to finally tackle her overflowing wardrobe. It felt like I was having conversations with old versions of myself, she laughed. But the more I let go, the lighter I felt. I wasn't giving up my past, I was finally stepping into my present. So if you've been feeling weighed down by what's hanging in your closet, stay with me. In this video, we'll gently walk through 10 types of clothes that might be quietly cluttering your life. No pressure, no shame, just thoughtful ideas to help you make space for what truly matters now. Let's begin with one of the most common wardrobe culprits: clothes that simply don't fit anymore. Whether it's a favorite blouse that once hugged your figure just right, or a pair of trousers that used to feel like a second skin time changes our bodies. That's not failure, that's life. One viewer once shared a comment that stayed with me. She said I kept a dress I wore in my 40s for almost 2 decades, hoping I'd shrink back into it. But all it did was remind me of who I no longer am. There's something beautifully freeing about dressing for the body you have now, not the one you wish you had or once did. If something feels tight, awkward, or simply not you anymore, maybe it's time to bless someone else with it. You deserve clothes that make you feel confident the moment you put them on. Don't let old sizes whisper unkindness into your day. Try this instead of asking, will I ever wear this again? Ask, does this support the version of me I love right now? That subtle shift in perspective can turn guilt into empowerment. You are not meant to shrink into your past. You are meant to grow gracefully, proudly, and comfortably. Let's move down to something many of us overlook until it's too late: our shoes. We often underestimate just how much our footwear shapes our daily life, especially as we grow older. A few years ago, my Aunt Marie, who's in her late 70s, shared a story I'll never forget. She'd been struggling with back pain and couldn't figure out the cause. After doctor visits and therapy sessions, the surprising culprit turned out to be her beloved but poorly fitting loafers. They were stylish, expensive, and painful. It's easy to justify keeping uncomfortable shoes. They cost me a lot, we say, or I'll break them in eventually. But let's be honest. How many of those pairs ever make it into our regular rotation? And at what cost? Sore knees, aching arches, or even a dangerous slip on the stairs. At this stage in life, our comfort isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The body you have now has carried you through decades of love, labor, and living. It deserves tenderness. If you're holding on to shoes that pinch your toes, wobble on slick floors, or leave blisters behind, it's time to ask, do these serve me anymore? Try this gentle exercise. Take each pair, slip them on, and walk around your home. Do your feet feel supported? Do you feel stable, grounded? If not, consider letting them go. The beautiful part is comfort doesn't mean you have to give up on looking good. Brands today make shoes with orthopedic support and style in mind. You can find soft leathers, memory foam soles, and elegant designs that don't compromise on function. And here's a bonus: by donating your gently used but uncomfortable shoes, you could bless someone else who finds them a perfect fit. Letting go of painful shoes isn't about discarding beauty, it's about redefining it. Because nothing is more elegant than a confident step and a peaceful body. Now let's talk about those damaged clothes hiding in the corners of your closet, the ones with missing buttons, little holes, frayed collars, or stubborn stains. You know the ones. Maybe they were once your favorites. Maybe they still hold memories. Or maybe you just keep telling yourself, I'll fix it one day. But if that day hasn't come in the past year or two, let's be real with ourselves, it's probably not coming. My friend Dolores kept a linen blouse with a tiny tear in the sleeve for over 5 years. Every spring she'd pull it out thinking she'd mend it. But it always went back in the closet untouched. Eventually, she told me it became a kind of burden, this nagging little reminder that she hadn't followed through. And when she finally let it go, she felt lighter. It was just one shirt, she said, but it took up space in my head. The truth is, clothes that are damaged beyond your willingness or ability to repair them are not just physical clutter. They're mental and emotional clutter too. Every time you glance at that old sweater with the stain that won't come out, it reminds you of an unfinished task. And that reminder can quietly chip away at your peace. Here's what you can do. Create 3 simple piles. Fix today. Let go and repurpose. If you truly love an item and it's worth repairing, set a firm date this week to mend it or take it to someone who can. If it's too far gone, consider cutting it up for cleaning cloths, donating the fabric for textile recycling, or letting it go with gratitude. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't value the item. It means you're choosing to value your space-time and clarity even more. Because when you open your closet, it should reflect care, not guilt. Let's take a moment to talk about the maybe someday clothes, the items we haven't touched in over a year. That silky blouse you swore you'd wear to a dinner that never happened. The blazer that still has the tag on. The dress you meant to wear once you lost a few pounds. These pieces quietly occupy space both in our closets and in our minds. And yet season after season they sit untouched. I remember helping my neighbour Linda, a vibrant 68-year-old, who had recently downsized into a smaller home. As we sorted her closet, she kept pulling out clothes she hadn't worn in years. I was saving this for a garden party, she said, holding up a floral sundress. When I gently asked when she last attended a garden party, she paused and laughed. Probably 2016. That laugh was a turning point. She realized she was dressing for a life that no longer matched her present reality. Life changes. Our social calendars shift. We prioritize comfort more than we used to. And that's a beautiful thing. But if our closet still clings to an older version of our lifestyle, it can cause unnecessary stress. We might find ourselves digging past 10 unworn outfits just to reach the 2 that actually work. That's not simplicity. That's decision fatigue. Here's a gentle rule I've come to love. If you haven't worn it through all 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, it might be time to part ways. Not because it has no value, but because it may have served its purpose already. Let it bring joy to someone else. That nearly new jacket you never wore, it could be someone's go-to for the season ahead. Your closet should feel like a trusted companion, not a time capsule. Let's fill it with clothes that meet you where you are now, practical, comforting, and aligned with the beautiful life you're living today. Let's talk now about the pieces that tug at your heart, the memory-laden clothes. These aren't just garments, they're keepsakes stitched with emotion. The cardigan your partner always complimented. The blazer you wore to your retirement party. The dress you had on when your grandchild was born. These pieces hold meaning, but they can also hold you back. I once spoke with a woman named Eleanor who had kept her late husband's favourite flannel shirt in the closet for over a decade. I'd see it every morning, she said softly, and it made me smile, but it also made me ache. Over time, that ache became heavy. Eventually, she took a photo of the shirt, framed it alongside a picture of them dancing together, and donated the real thing to a local shelter. Now his memory greets me with warmth, she told me, but without the weight. The challenge with sentimental clothes is that they often represent moments we never want to forget. And you shouldn't forget. But holding on to every piece tied to the past can create emotional clutter. It can anchor us to seasons we've outgrown and leave little room for the life we're still living. Here's a meaningful approach. Choose 1 or 2 special items to keep and find creative ways to honor them. You might repurpose a cherished fabric into a pillow quilt square or framed art. For everything else, consider taking photos. Create a memory album of beloved outfits tied to milestones, then donate the physical items to someone who truly needs them. It's okay to cry when you let go. That's not weakness, it's reverence. But imagine walking into your closet and feeling not sadness, but peace. A place not filled with ghosts, but filled with garments that support your life today. That's the freedom we're working toward. Now let's gently confront one of the sneakiest kinds of clutter, the someday clothes. These are the pieces we keep for a future that hasn't quite happened yet. Maybe it's the pair of jeans you're hoping to fit into again, or the cocktail dress you bought just in case a fancy dinner comes up. These items often carry the whisper of who we think we should be, rather than celebrating who we are right now. A woman I met at a local community center once told me something so honest, it stayed with me. She said I kept those pants for 5 years, hoping I'd wear them once I dropped the weight. But every time I saw them, I didn't feel inspired. I felt like a failure. She eventually donated them and replaced them with clothes that felt good now. I didn't lose the weight, she laughed, but I lost the shame. That's powerful. Keeping someday clothes can quietly fuel negative self-talk. We think we're being optimistic, but more often we're placing conditions on our self-worth. As seniors, we've lived enough to know that life isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about living in the one we're in. So here's my encouragement: open your closet and look for anything that's tied to a version of yourself you feel pressured to become. Ask yourself, is this something I truly love, or something I hope will someday love me back? There's a difference. And when you let those clothes go, you're not giving up. You're choosing to dress with joy, ease, and self-acceptance. And remember, your donations matter. That dress that makes you feel not yet might be a perfect fit and a huge blessing for someone else. Let's dress not for a future fantasy, but for the beautiful, capable, worthy woman you already are. Next up, let's talk about clothes that demand more from you than they give back, those high-maintenance pieces that require special washing, ironing, dry cleaning, or delicate handling just to stay wearable. Maybe it's a silk blouse that wrinkles the moment you sit down, or a pair of slacks that must be hung just right, or they lose their shape. At a certain point in life, these items stop feeling special and start feeling exhausting. My cousin June, now 72, used to have a closet filled with designer tops that looked beautiful, but came with care labels longer than a grocery list. One day, after a frustrating morning, wrestling with a linen tunic that wouldn't lay flat, she declared, "I'm too old to iron my way to happiness." She started replacing those high-maintenance items with pieces that were easy to wash, quick to dry, and never needed more than a gentle tug to look neat. And guess what? She didn't miss the old clothes one bit. As we age, our time and energy become even more precious. Every moment we spend fussing with tricky fabrics or waiting at the dry cleaner is a moment we could spend doing something we actually enjoy. Whether it's gardening, reading, visiting with friends, or simply resting. Simplifying your wardrobe isn't about lowering your standards, it's about raising your quality of life. Take a walk through your closet and check the tags. Be honest about what feels like a chore. If something requires more maintenance than you're willing to give, let it go. Instead, choose fabrics that are kind to your schedule, soft knits, cottons, and blends that hold up well and don't wrinkle at the slightest bend. Clothing should serve you, not the other way around. When your wardrobe is full of low-effort, high-comfort pieces, your mornings feel smoother and your spirit feels lighter. Let elegance be defined not by complexity, but by the ease and confidence you feel in your own skin. Let's turn our attention to seasonal clothes, the heavy coats, thick scarves, and winter boots that may have made perfect sense years ago, but haven't been touched in ages. Maybe you moved from a snowy region to a warmer state, Maybe your days of snow shoveling or icy morning walks are long behind you, and yet those bulky winter items still live in your closet just in case. But let's ask ourselves, just in case of what? I once helped my friend Harold sort through his hall closet after he relocated from Michigan to Arizona. He had 5 winter coats, 3 pairs of snow boots, and more gloves than he could count. "I guess I thought I might go back one day," he admitted. But years had passed and the coats were collecting dust. We packed most of them up and donated them to a shelter back in Michigan. Harold kept one lighter coat for travel and felt a sense of relief he hadn't expected. "I didn't realize how much room those memories were taking," he said. "Our lives evolve, and our wardrobes should too." Holding on to seasonal gear that no longer suits your environment is like keeping ski gear in the desert. It may have once made sense, but now it only takes up valuable space. By letting go, you're not just clearing out physical items, you're releasing an old lifestyle that no longer serves your present reality. Here's something to try if you haven't worn a seasonal item in 2 or more years. Consider whether you truly need it. Ask yourself, do I live the kind of life where this item still has a role? If not, let it go with gratitude. You might even find that your local shelters, churches, or coat drives are thrilled to receive those gently used items before the next cold season hits. Simplifying your closet based on climate is one of the easiest ways to bring alignment into your home. You deserve a wardrobe that reflects your life now, not your past zip code. Now let's talk about something that sneaks up on most of us duplicates. How many white blouses, black slacks, or just-in-case cardigans do you really need? Over time, we buy extras for convenience out of habit, or because we simply forgot we already had something similar. But before we know it, our closets are overflowing with 5 versions of the same item, and we still reach for our one favorite over and over. My neighbor Judy had 8 nearly identical long-sleeved tops in varying shades of beige. When I asked her why, she laughed and said, "Every time I couldn't find the one I liked, I just bought another." Sound familiar? When we're busy or tired, or when our closet is cluttered, it's hard to see what we actually own. Duplicates create decision fatigue and steal precious time from our mornings. Take a moment to ask yourself, which pieces do I actually wear? Which ones do I always skip over? Set aside everything you haven't reached for in months and compare your duplicates. Often there's one that's softer, fits better, or simply feels more you. That's the one to keep. The rest, let them find a new home where they can be appreciated and used. Simplifying doesn't mean you have to live with the bare minimum. It just means curating with intention. When your wardrobe holds fewer pieces, but each one brings comfort or confidence, you gain back control. It's no longer about having more. It's about loving what you already have. And here's a bonus: duplicates are easy to donate. They're usually in good condition, barely worn, and perfect for someone building a new wardrobe on a budget. You're not just decluttering, you're quietly blessing someone else's life. Let's trade quantity for clarity. A closet filled with trusted favorites is one of the simplest joys you can give yourself at this stage of life. Let's close with perhaps the most important category of all: clothes that no longer reflect the person you are today. These are the outfits you once loved, maybe even built an identity around. The business suits from your working years. The flashy prints you wore in your social butterfly season. The bold colors or trendy styles that felt right in your 40s, but now just feel like someone else's wardrobe. I remember a woman named Susan from a local book club who said something that struck a chord. "Every time I put on my old office blazer, I felt like I was pretending to be busy again. But I'm retired now. I don't want to wear stress anymore. I want to wear peace." Her words were powerful. Our clothes can quietly shape how we feel. When they reflect an outdated version of our lives, they can keep us emotionally stuck. Who are you today? A grandmother, a quiet artist, a nature-loving walker, a woman who values ease, softness, and authenticity over anything that looks like performance. Your clothes should feel like a second skin, not a costume. They should lift your spirit, not make you sigh in front of the mirror. Here's a gentle idea. Go through your wardrobe and ask, does this feel like me? Now, if something feels out of sync with your current values, comfort, or sense of self, it's okay to thank it for its season and let it go. You're not losing style. You're gaining alignment. Decluttering isn't just about physical space. It's a reflection of emotional clarity. A wardrobe that mirrors your present allows you to greet each day grounded, honest, and free from pressure to be anything other than yourself. At this age, authenticity is the most elegant thing you can wear. Let your clothes tell the truth of your beautiful, evolving life. So here we are, dear friend, at the edge of a new kind of freedom. You've looked through your closet not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Each item you choose to let go of isn't a loss. It's a quiet, courageous act of self-respect. Because this stage of life isn't about holding on to who you were. It's about embracing who you are now with open arms and open space. I know it's not always easy. Some pieces carry memories. Others hold on to what-ifs. But the beauty of this journey is realizing that you don't need those clothes to keep your stories. They live in you. And the you standing here today deserves a wardrobe that celebrates today, not waits for tomorrow or mourns yesterday. Letting go makes room. Room for ease in the morning. Room for a little more joy as you reach for something that fits just right. Room for the peace that comes from knowing that what surrounds you serves you. If this video has inspired you to take a small step, just one drawer, one hanger, one item, I hope you feel proud. Proud of making space for what matters. Proud of choosing clarity over clutter. And proud of remembering that you, just as you are today, are enough. Now, if this message spoke to you, I invite you to subscribe and join our gentle community here. We are all learning to simplify, embrace, and celebrate this beautiful chapter of life together. Thank you for being here, and until next time, may your closet and your heart both feel just a little bit lighter.